Okay. Abba. Today is, oh, I have to, where did I leave my things? Okay, go by that watch. Doesn't matter. Om. Today is Sugama. Okay. I think Sugama only Friday. Yes. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shrutismriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Bante Bhagavantau Punah Punahan Namami Gaudapadancha Shankaram Sri Sureshwaram Swaminam Satchidanandamindram Tam Jnanarupine. 33rd point we were discussing, in which Bhamati's objection, explanation against Adhyasa. Okay, so Sakur, it is his explanation that not only removing Adhyasa, even removal of samskara is required. What he says is, removing Adhyasa is not enough. Even its samskara, that means the root of Adhyasa has to be removed. Otherwise, the samskara is left out. If samskara remains, it will spring up again into Adhyasa. Therefore, jnanam correcting Adhyasa is not enough. See, this is the peculiar thing. Jnanam correcting Adhyasa is not enough. It has to go to the root of it and remove the root of Adhyasa. To this objection, Swamiji answered, it is against Bhashya, it is against Shruti, and against Yukti and all that. Now, against Bhashya Vakyas we have seen, against Shruti we have to see. Shruti Bhahyascha ayam pakshaha. Sarvatra hi Shrutisho Vidyaya Avidya Nivrittir Upadishyate. In all the Upanishads, it is taught that Jnanam removes Ajnanam alone and does nothing else. Nowhere the Upanishad talks of, in addition to removing Adhyasa, its samskaras also have to be removed. After removing Adhyasa, samskaras will remain. This kind of statement nowhere you find in any Upanishads. Sarvatra hi Shrutishu Vidyaya Avidya Nivrittir Upadishyate. For example, Avidyayaha Paramparam Tarayasi. In Prashnopanishad, at the end Shishyas say, Avidyayaha Paramparam Tarayasi. You take us, you help us to cross, or go to the other side of Avidya. That's all. So he is, that Shishya is talking the sixth prashna, last prashna, that Jnanam can only remove Ajnanam and nothing else. Nothing more, nothing less. Tamasaha paran darshayati, another Chandogya Vakyam, the 7th chapter. Sanat Kumara is addressing Narada. Narada wanted to learn. So here the Shastra says, Tamasaha paran darshayati. The Guru only teaches how to cross Avidya. He doesn't talk of Avidya having a samskara that needs to be removed. Okay. Iti chaiva madisha. Nacha Avidya nivritter anantaram samskara vashat utthihi sadhanantarena तन्निवृत्त्युपदेशो वा दर्शितमस्ति क्वचिदपि. Same thing. Avidya nivritter anantaram. Nowhere any Upanishad. Sometimes it happens what is stated briefly in one Upanishads is found a little more elaborately in another Upanishads. So all these things we take help of these various Upanishads. See, this is a very peculiar thing about our Shastras. For us there is no one Rishi or one book. If one prophet makes mistakes, there is no gati, whole world has to die. According to our Abrahamic religions, monotheistic religions, if one prophet briefly says something or makes some mistake, that's all, whole world has to die. Whole world has to suffer, there is no chance of correcting it. Okay. But here, if one Upanishad, one Rishi says something briefly in one place, another Rishi, another place talks of the same thing. Because the truth is universal, it doesn't depend upon any given prophet or doesn't depend upon any words of a given book. Because the purpose of books and Rishis is to help us to discover your own truth. The inner truth, the universal truth, it is just self-evident. There is a wrong angle of looking. That wrong angle of looking is corrected. How do you correct it? Even the wrong angle of looking is corrected by only pointing out, not informing, not asking to believe. Believe is an ignorance. See, there are certain religions of belief and religions of knowledge. Hinduism is a religion of knowledge and theirs is a religion of ignorance. Because what does belief mean? Belief means accepting something without knowing it. What is a belief? Belief is accepting something without knowing it. And there is no chance of knowing it later also. Sometimes it happens, you know something you don't know, in the beginning you accept it without knowing it, tentatively you accept and go ahead to investigate, to search, to find how far it is true. So a tentative acceptance, a tentative belief is there sometimes. And then later at the end of your search, end of your investigation, you come to know whether that earlier belief, the earlier assumption was right or wrong. Sometimes it can happen this way, that earlier you assume and hoping to confirm it with the help of your investigation. At a later, sometimes it may not be confirmed, then you reject it. But here, in these religions, belief is total ignorance. They say it is a belief. The very belief means it is not knowledge. And there is no way of knowing. They call it eternal mystery. Eternal mystery means eternal belief. You believe, that's all. Believe and nothing else. That means it is an ignorance. You accept something which you don't know. And there is no way of knowing it. No way of correcting it. See, there are two things. Even in belief, there are two ways. One is just now I told you, you tentatively assume it, accept it, so that you can probe independently with your open mind, you investigate, and at the end you come to understand what you assumed before was right or wrong. What you assume in the beginning may prove to be right or wrong. But whatever it is, let the investigation prove it. So it is only a tentative assumption. It is not absolute belief, unquestioned belief. This is one belief. Second belief is the believed idea. We talk of two things again. Again, in the second one, again 2 points. One is the believing mind, second is the believed idea. The believed idea should be logical, at least logical. The phenomenon, the fact, you have not seen it. First we told belief is an ignorance. You accepting something without knowing it. Okay. Even that accepted idea, as an idea it should be logical. Okay. Idea, at least the idea should look logical. It should not be too illogical. And in Hinduism we have two kinds of beliefs. One is a tentative belief, as I told you in the beginning. You assume tentatively before you investigate, and at the end of it you come to know whether it is right or wrong. This is one kind of belief. Another belief is the believed idea. You just accept the idea, but try to see the idea looks at least logical. It shouldn't be illogical. The idea accepted look at least logical. Probability logic we call it. It should look logical. Second point is about the same belief. Idea believed and the believing heart. The believing heart should become elevated by the belief. 2 points are involved in this first kind of belief. To be able to understand clearly, we put it, one is a previous section of the Veda, another is a later section of the Veda. Previous section of the Veda called Karma Kanda, later portion is Jnana Kanda. Jnana portion and Karma portion. In Karma Kanda, the previous portion of the Veda talks of this second type of belief, or let us say first kind of belief. Whatever you say, numbering is not important. So the first portion of Veda talks of one kind of belief. Second portion of Veda talks of another kind of belief. But both these kinds of beliefs are totally different from these monotheistic beliefs. These biblical beliefs. Abrahamic beliefs are totally different from Hindu belief. My intention is not to find fault with them, but just to show the contrast, just to show how they have a different views, different understanding of them, and see whichever you feel right, you may accept it. We only just tell you, we only present what they say. So again in Hinduism too, one is a Vedic belief, another is Vedantic belief. One is a Karma Kanda belief, first one, second is a Jnana Kanda. In the first one called Karma Kanda belief, two aspects we have to see. One is the quality of the heart which is believing. Is the quality of the heart affected by the belief? Belief itself is a nature of mind. Believing is a nature of mind. So two aspects of the same belief. One is believing heart, another is the idea believed. Idea believed should be logical, it can't be illogical. If it is illogical, the belief is wrong. So about the another aspect of the belief regarding Karma Kanda, first portion of Veda. Another aspect of it is the quality of the belief. The belief, does it make you very stubborn and violent, or does it make you a selfish and convenient, or does it make you a pure, elevated, open-minded person, a good-hearted person, a selfless person? If you are a stubborn and violent, it is called a tamasic belief. We call the very quality of the belief, because the quality of the heart produces the quality of belief. I think I told you it has two aspects. One is the idea believed and the heart that believes. The mind or the heart that believes. The heart has got three levels. One is a lowest level, medium level and highest level. So the lowest level is very rude, very crude mind. A crude mind is a rash, rude. It is stubborn, it stubbornly believes, doesn't think of it good or bad. It is the very nature of the mind which is very stubborn and crude, okay, and violent. Second higher stage of mind is it believes, but believes out of convenience. For its own selfish purpose it believes. It believes and achieves certain things for selfish purpose. So is at least better than the stubborn person, the first type of person. The lowest type of person, we call them tamasika belief, tamasika shraddha. Little better is rajasa shraddha. The real good shraddha is the nature of the heart which believes, the nature of the heart which contains the quality of belief, the nature of belief, the quality of belief. The highest type of belief is a good, open mind, sincere. It makes a person a gentle, open mind, good hearted person, neither stubborn nor selfish, but open, sensitive, understanding that person. So therefore, the belief, one aspect of belief is the quality of the heart. Another aspect of the belief is the idea you believe in, the concept you believe in, the doctrine or dogma you believe in. The doctrine or dogma should be logical, it can't be illogical. Not only illogical, it can't be inhuman also. The idea or concept should not be inhuman and illogical. It has to reflect some good, kind-hearted, a meaningful. It should be meaningful, logical, and reflect the kind-hearted idea. It shouldn't mean some kind of vengeance, hatred, inhuman, asuric we call. Inhuman is asuric, asura. It shouldn't reply an asuric idea. So this belief is advocated in the first portion of the Veda, Karma Kanda portion. Then the Jnana Kanda portion is you tentatively assume before you come to understand it. Okay, it's a tentative assumption, so that you can go ahead and find out how far it is true. Therefore, we have got this through two kinds of belief. One is in Karma Kanda belief, another is Jnana Kanda belief. Both the beliefs look reasonable, meaningful, and understandable. But these monotheistic beliefs, they are illogical, stubborn, do not represent humanistic thinking, human values. They are inhuman, asuric, illogical, asuric. Another thing is the concept of God is too cruel, and still they say God should be like this alone. And they advise, and the God advises certain ideas of very inhuman and harsh, illogical, cruel ideas. And God hates somebody, and you are supposed to share his hatred. God hates somebody, and the followers are supposed to share his hatred. God is intolerant. Intolerance, hatred, these are all inhuman feelings, inhuman values. We don't accept these inhuman values can be godly values. That faith can't be faith, it is an asuric faith, therefore it is not a religious faith. Asuric faith is not a religious faith. And the idea or the concept you believe should be basically logical. You can't afford, you can't have an illogical idea, inhuman idea. Okay? But they say, God says he is intolerant, and you are supposed to accept it. This is too much. Okay. So there, belief is simply ignorance. Because the ignorance is two types again. One is an innocent ignorance, another is what you say, a violent, arrogant, aggressive ignorance. Okay, violent, arrogant, aggressive ignorance. One is a baby's ignorance, another is wicked man's ignorance. Baby's ignorance is innocent. Baby doesn't know. That innocent ignorance can be corrected. He can be informed. He can be enlightened. An ignorant man doesn't know, but he can know it, what is there. Once he knows, that ignorance goes away. Okay. See, if you don't know something, you believed it and you thought it is right. Later somebody told that no, this is not right. See, it is like this. He proves to you logically and shows it. Oh, you come to know, you're sorry, I didn't know this. And without knowing it, I made a mistake. Now I'll change it. You change it. What is there? See, if you believe something out of ignorance, if it means a simple ignorance, it's not harmful. Because once you know, you can change it. You can drop that belief, wrong belief. But there is another belief, it is illogical, it is inhuman, and you stubbornly defend and illogically you defend. You don't argue, you don't discuss with people. You say you must accept, otherwise I'll kill you. I'll use the sword, you must accept it. No argumentation, no questioning. No questioning, it's a belief, you must accept it. No questioning. So, not questioning, and a sword is the defense. Sword comes to the defense, don't question. And what about the feeling? It is inhuman, doesn't matter, it must be inhuman. Then only it is a God's belief. Belief in God, belief in heaven, belief in God's nature, and the concept of religion and the concept of original sin, all this look very, very, very barbaric, wickedest thing. So the religion can be wicked, inhuman and illogical, and it can be logical, human, sincere, makes you open-minded, makes you a gentleman, a nice man. Now you understand the difference between belief. Any belief is ignorance, but some people's belief is more than ignorance. It involves wickedness, illogical and cruelty. It is a cruel belief, that we can say. Inhuman, cruel and illogical. Illogical and inhuman. I think I told you that the two words explain everything. The other things are only elaboration. Illogical and inhuman. Okay. Illogical, inhuman belief can't be God. Now, even to prove this, you have to explain and discuss with him. Now, he says, no, don't explain, don't argue with me. This is my religion. You have no right to question. That's all, we accept it. Because our God said it. So, the very starting point is inhuman. Starting point is illogical. It prevents all questioning, all understanding. Oh, it's highly dangerous. It prevents all questioning, all understanding. But it is inhuman, yes, you must believe it. It is wicked, you must believe it. It is very cruel, yes, you must believe it. But it is illogical, don't question it. That's what it is. It is a God's word, you have no right to question. But it is inhuman, yes, it could be, maybe. First thing is, there is no question of inhuman, human. God said it, that's all, that is final. This is a kind of belief. Therefore, avidya nivritteranantaram, after removing the ignorance, after correcting the misunderstanding in Vedanta, but there the belief itself represents very cruelty and illogicality. Illogical and cruel. Common man understands, may not be highly logical. He understands some logic, common sense logic, but at least one thing he understands, that God and religion can't be cruel. Can't be cruel and inhuman. This much they accept. But these Abrahamic religions, they accept cruelty as normally as anything. Cruelty, God being cruel, God being illogical, God being persecution, they accept it naturally. They feel this is how God is. Oh, this is the danger. Okay. There were no discussions, no trying to understand the very nature of belief, quality of belief. What is belief? First you accept a belief and then try to defend it. This is what is happening. We have never questioned it. The very nature of belief, its effect on a personality, the effect of belief on the personality, and both. Personality means your mind, your behavior, as well as intellect. Intellect, it should make you logical. It shouldn't make you illogical. The effect on the heart, it should make you a good humanistic person. A human values, not inhuman and cruel. Okay, so ajnana is a simple ignorance. But here, Avidya should be corrected. See, our Vedanta talks of correcting ignorance. Correcting ignorance, because ignorance is wrong. Ignorance is wrong thinking, and it needs to be corrected. For them, ignorance is the teaching. Their religion is ignorance, because belief means ignorance. Their very religion is ignorance. Their religion was born of arrogance and lives in ignorance. Born of arrogant ignorance, cruel ignorance. Religion is born of cruel ignorance, continues in cruel ignorance. They live, the followers live in that cruel ignorance. At the end, they will die in that cruelty only. What a sadness. Okay. But we say, avidya nivritti, correcting the misunderstanding and enlightening, is Vedanta. It is more than logic, but it can't be illogical. Enlightenment is more than logic. That means, how to say that? Even logic looks limited. It is more than logic, but it can't be illogical. This is most important. It can't afford to be illogical. Therefore, nacha avidya nivritteranantaram. So, after the ignorance is corrected, means wrong angle of looking is corrected, you are brought to a right way of looking, right stand of looking. Okay. Nacha avidya nivritteranantaram. After your misunderstanding, your wrong angle of looking is corrected, you are, I have not switched on. Anyway, it is coming to an end, half an hour is over. This YouTube I have not switched on. Anyway, we will leave it today. Nacha avidya nivritteranantaram samskara vashat taduttitihi sadhanantarena tan nivrityupadesho va darshitamapi kvachidapi. Nowhere Upanishad teaches that after the ignorance is corrected, that means your wrong angle of looking is corrected, you are brought to the right way of looking, right standpoint. Yet that old standpoint, samskaras of old standpoint will remain, and that has to be destroyed. Nowhere it is said. Okay. Samskara vashad utthitihi sadhanantarena tan nivrityupadesho va darshitamasti kvachidapi. Ataha shruti bahyoyam vadaha. Therefore, this vada is a shruti bahya. This vada means this view is against shruti. It was already discussed and refuted. Earlier it was told how it is against bhashya. Secondly, now told it is against shruti. Now next he says it is against logic. This concept of that there is something outside adhyasa is, cause of adhyasa is something more than nahi samyak jnanena badhitayam avidyayam punastat samskara tat samskara samskaravashesha sakya sambhavana. Once avidya is corrected, adhyasa or a misunderstanding is corrected, there is no chance of its samskara, special samskara continuing to exist. Samskara means what? Once you corrected, you understand yourself to be pure consciousness. In the consciousness there is no chance for samskara. There is no chance of slipping down from your consciousness and coming to again adhyasa. Such a thing doesn't exist. Avidyam hi niravashesham anapabadhamana vidyayvana bhave. If vidya doesn't remove ignorance completely, if jnanam doesn't remove ajnanam completely, it is not jnanam at all. See? Therefore, yathahur jnana tattvavidaha, Swamiji is quoting Brihadaranyaka Vakya. Atmasama anya rupottam jnanam ajnanam atmani sakrujjatam na chethanti jnanam eva na ted bhavet. Once the jnanam that rises, It permanently, once for good, eliminates complete ignorance. If it doesn't remove, then it is not a knowledge at all. You can't call something as a light if it can't remove darkness. Light is brought, and you say, oh, light is brought, it has removed darkness, but darkness being very strong, it has pushed it and come back again. This is ridiculous. No light, no darkness, no light can ever be overpowered by darkness. No light can ever be overpowered by darkness. Therefore, this is a ridiculous thing. It is not called jnanam at all if it is unable to remove ignorance for good. Okay, these are all simple arguments, childish arguments. But I tell you, sometimes big scholars, very, very great scholars, start accepting certain illogical things, and then we have to convince them. It becomes a very big topic. Okay, nacha vidyayaha utpatti vyatirekena avidya nivartanam namanya vyaparo asti. Next point. Avidya removal means knowledge arriving, that's all. Knowledge arriving and removal of ignorance are not two steps, are not two separate things. They are neither two things nor two steps. They are the same thing said in two ways. Okay, removal of ignorance and arrival of knowledge, they are not two things. Arrival of light and dark, going away of darkness are not two things. When light has arrived, when there is no ignorance. When there is no ignorance, light has arrived. So both of them mean the same thing, presented too differently. Therefore, vidyaya utpatti vyatirekena avidya nivartanam namanya vyaparo asti. Therefore, except the rising of knowledge, there is no other way of removing ignorance. Removing ignorance means rising of knowledge, that's all. नाम अन्यो व्यापारो अस्ति यथा चाहुः न चाविद्या समुच्चित्तिर्ज्ञानोत्पत्त्यतिरेकतः. सुरेश्वराचार्य says, न च अविद्या समुच्चित्तिः ज्ञानोत्पत्त्यतिरेकतः संसारनाशो विद्याया नाशान्न व्यतिरिच्यते. Therefore, samsara nasha means only discovering Brahma means there is no samsara, that's all. There is no nasha, real nasha. Samsara is not there in your understanding of the truth. So when you understand the truth, samsara is not there automatically. When you remove the samsara, you automatically understand your Atman. So they are not two things. Yadapyahuhu samskaravadinaha. Ayyo. Another argument. I think we will stop with this. Okay. Today we have some more time, but another 10 minutes we have. But I think is enough for today. The same thing, another argument is talking. We will discuss, I think, in one class. Next class we will complete this and go to the next thing. Only one class point is remaining. Okay. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Tat Sat.